In this video, we'll be taking a look at 5 NBA games happening on April 9, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 10 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 5 NBA games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Philadelphia 76ers versus Washington Wizards. Philadelphia, sitting at a dismal 23-56 on the season, will be trying to put an end to their brutal 6-game road losing skid when they head into Capital One Arena on Wednesday night to take on Washington. It's not exactly a marquee matchup. The 76ers are coming off a loss to the Miami Heat, and the Wizards are on the second night of a back-to-back, which doesn't do them any favors either. The Sixers are still missing a good chunk of their roster. Andre Drummond, Joel Embiid, Kyle Lowry, and Paul George are all out. On the flip side, the Wizards are also banged up, with K.A. Tris Middleton, Malcolm Brogdon, and Richaun Holmes already ruled out again. With both teams this short-handed, it's tough to trust either one. Honestly, you couldn't pay me to sit through all 4 quarters of this. Washington has dropped 5 of their last 7, while Philly hasn't won a road game in their last 6 tries. Still, the Wizards might have a slight upper hand just based on the numbers. They've been shooting the ball better lately, knocking down 46% of their shots over the last 3 games. They've also hit over 76% of their free throws in that stretch, compared to the Sixers, who have been under 70%. Washington's been doing a solid job cleaning the glass too, pulling in over 10 offensive boards per game. That gives them more cracks at scoring. They've also tightened up their ball security, cutting down on turnovers, which limits cheap points for the other team. Meanwhile, the Sixers have looked lost on defense, giving up more than 118 points per game in their last 3 outings. So, it's hard to imagine them keeping Washington in check. Sure, some folks might say the Sixers have the advantage because they're rested, but I'm not taking that bait. This is a team that hasn't won a single game since March 16th. In fact, they've only managed to win 3 games total since February 5th. And let's not forget that nearly every key player on the roster is on the injury report. The Wizards may be on a back-to-back, but at least they've been showing some signs of life. Just last night against the Pacers, they were up 14 in the 3rd quarter. They play with some fight now and then, and that's more than I can say for the Sixers at the moment. If the Wizards weren't playing the second leg of a back-to-back, I wouldn't be surprised to see them as the favorites in this one. And with this being their final home game of the season, you'd think they'd come out with a little pride and energy. As our 5th pick for this matchup, the Washington Wizards to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. The total has gone over in 3 of the last 5 games for Philly. They're averaging 109.5 points a night and play fast, clocking in at the 4th quickest pace in the NBA with 103.8 possessions per game. They're going up against a Wizards team that gives up a whopping 122 points per game on their home floor. Washington's offense averages 108 points per game, and while they don't move quite as fast, ranking 23rd in pace with 101.1 possessions, they're facing a Sixers team that's been allowing nearly 119 points per game over their last 3. It feels like both teams could put up enough points here to send the total past the number. Also worth noting, these 2 squads have hit the over in 4 of their last 6 head-to-head matchups. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Boston Celtics versus Orlando Magic. This Wednesday, the Boston Celtics will be hitting the road to face off against the Orlando Magic at the Kia Center. It'll be the 3rd meeting between these 2 teams this season. In their previous matchups, Orlando pulled off a close win, 108-104, back on December 23rd, while Boston fired back with a blowout 121-94 win on January 17th. Over the last 10 games between these 2 squads, they've split the wins evenly at 5 apiece, although Orlando has the edge against the spread, covering in 6 of those 10 games. Interestingly, the total has gone under in 7 of those contests, pointing to a recent trend of lower scoring affairs when these teams meet. Boston is dealing with some injuries and rotation tweaks as Al Horford remains sidelined. There's also a chance the Celtics may choose to sit several of their starters to keep them fresh. On the other side, Orlando is still without Jalen Suggs and Moritz Wagner. Despite Boston being the more established team, the Magic are opening as the betting favorites for this one. That's usually a strong signal that the Celtics might be planning to rest a good chunk of their top guys. It looks like the odds makers expect Boston to take it easy after playing the night before. The Celtics are basically locked into the second seed in the Eastern Conference, so there's not much pressure on them to go all out. Meanwhile, the Magic are fighting to nail down the 7th seed, which would give them home court advantage in the play-in tournament. With that in mind, and assuming Boston rolls out a lighter lineup, Orlando has every reason to push for the win here and should be in a great spot to come out on top. As our first pick for this matchup, the Orlando Magic to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. When the Magic are favored, the under has hit in 29 out of 46 games. And when Boston is an underdog, the under is undefeated at 3-0 this season. There's not a lot of motivation for Boston to force the pace, especially with several of their main guys nursing various injuries. Both teams are also playing on the second night of a back-to-back, so it wouldn't be surprising to see a bit of fatigue. The Magic tend to slow things down. They play at the slowest pace in the league, and that'll likely help them control the flow of this game at home. Even though Boston has been red hot lately, winning 12 of its last 13, they're not likely to be focused on keeping that streak alive in this particular matchup. With the Celtics leaning more on their bench, it wouldn't be a shock if their scoring takes a dip. Heading into Tuesday's game against the Knicks, Boston had stayed under the total in 3 of its previous 4 games. Orlando, on the other hand, leads the league in scoring defense, and Boston isn't far behind, sitting 4th in that category. Add in the back-to-back fatigue factor, and both teams may show signs of slowing down as the game wears on. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Charlotte Hornets versus Toronto Raptors. It's a showdown between 2 Eastern Conference squads up in Canada, with the Charlotte Hornets visiting the Toronto Raptors on Wednesday night. Neither team has anything left to fight for in the standings, so this one's more about finishing strong and saving face than anything else. With both teams out of playoff contention, there's really nothing left on the line except a bit of pride. These last few games are more about finding momentum heading into the offseason than chasing wins that matter. Charlotte continues to miss their star guard LaMelo Ball, who remains sidelined. For Toronto, they'll be without Ochai Agbaji, and Scotty Barnes is still questionable. This is a tough spot for the Hornets, who are in the middle of a grueling stretch, playing their 3rd game in 4 nights, and the second leg of a back-to-back. With the season already lost, you'll want to keep an eye on who even suits up. Historically, the Hornets have really struggled in back-to-backs and haven't done well on the road either. Toronto's missing a few bodies too, but they're expected to have both R.J. Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley, who make for a stronger backcourt pairing than anything Charlotte has right now. Even though both teams have already been knocked out of playoff contention, it's pretty clear that Toronto looks like the more put-together group at the moment. The Raptors have covered the spread in 5 of their last 8 games, and they sit at an impressive 47-31-1 against the spread overall this season. When they're expected to win, they often show up. They've gone 8-4 against the spread when listed as the favorite. On the flip side, Charlotte's been brutal lately, covering the spread just once in their last 10 games. Overall, they're 36-41-1 against the spread on the year. Toronto has a real opportunity to control the paint in this one. They're averaging 53 points per game in the paint, which ranks 4th in the league. Charlotte, they're way down at 45, sitting 26th. On the glass, the Raptors also hold the edge. They average 53.6 rebounds per game, including 12.5 offensive boards, which puts them in the top 5 league-wide. Turnovers have been a problem for both teams, but Toronto at least creates more chaos. They force 15 turnovers a game, while Charlotte only forces 13.4. It's always a bit messy trying to predict outcomes when you've got 2 teams who clearly aren't trying to win much at this point in the season. But the Hornets are on the second night of a back-to-back, while Toronto is coming in fresh off a win over the Nets on Sunday. Charlotte's defense has completely fallen apart during their current losing streak. They're just 1-9 straight up and against the spread in their last 10. That trend doesn't figure to reverse on tired legs. The Raptors, even with nothing to play for, continue to compete hard and cover spreads. Their 47-31-1 record against the spread makes them the second best team in the NBA at doing so, just behind the Thunder. Given the extra rest and more consistent effort, it makes sense to keep backing Toronto here. They may not be tanking well, but they sure do cash tickets. As our first pick for this matchup, the Toronto Raptors to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Offensively, Charlotte has dipped below even their season-long averages lately. Over their last 10 games, they're scoring just 105.5 points per game, and they've been held to 105 or fewer 6 times during that span. The Hornets rank 21st in pace at 97.6 possessions per game and sit second to last in offensive efficiency. Toronto's been a little better. They're averaging 111 points per game over their last 10, slightly above their season average. Defensively, they've improved too, giving up 111 points per game over that stretch, which is over 4 points better than their usual mark. The Raptors push the pace a bit more, ranking 11th in tempo, but they're still way down at 26th in offensive efficiency. With how flat Charlotte's offense has been, it's hard for either team to really drive the score up, even if the defense isn't exactly elite. Toronto's offensive rating of 110.3 is near the bottom of the league, and Charlotte's even worse at 107.3, second worst in the NBA. Toronto's hit the over in just 3 of their last 9 games, while Charlotte's done it 3 times in their last 7. As underdogs, the Hornets are 27-44 on the over-under this season. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Los Angeles Lakers versus Dallas Mavericks. The Los Angeles Lakers, holding a 48-30 record and sitting comfortably in 3rd place in the Western Conference, are gearing up to face the Dallas Mavericks, who are currently 10th in the conference with a 38-41 record. This matchup is set for April 9th and will take place at the American Airlines Center. It's shaping up to be a meaningful one, especially since it marks the final regular season meeting between the two teams. They've split their first 2 games, so this 3rd game will serve as the tiebreaker. The Lakers are heading into this game with some momentum, having won their last 2 matchups. Most recently, they rolled over the Oklahoma City Thunder with a 126-99 win on the road this past Sunday. On the flip side, the Mavericks are trying to bounce back after dropping their last 2 games, including a rough 135-104 loss to the Clippers in Los Angeles on Saturday. Even though the Lakers are playing on back-to-back nights, they've got their eye on keeping that 3rd seed, which adds some urgency. Dallas, on the other hand, hasn't played since Saturday and should be fresh. The Lakers got the better of the Mavs back on February 25th, winning 107-99, but the short turnaround and travel could make things tricky this time around. Injuries are still a factor. Rui Hachimura and Bronny James are out for the Lakers, while Dallas will be without Jaden Hardy again and has Dante Exum listed as questionable. And let's not forget, Davis is going to be extra fired up going against his old squad. As our first pick for this matchup, the Dallas Mavericks to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Over the past 10 games, both teams have been shooting the ball pretty well. The Lakers rank 11th in effective field goal percentage during that stretch, sitting at 57.2%, while the Mavericks aren't far behind in 14th place with a 55.8% mark. In terms of pace over the last 15 games, there's a bit of contrast. Los Angeles is playing at the 18th fastest pace with a rating of 98.6, while Dallas is pushing the tempo more, coming in at 7th with a 100.9 pace. Scoring has also been up lately for both squads. The over has cashed in 6 of the Lakers' last 10 games, and it's hit 6 times for Dallas as well in that same span, with 1 push. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Miami Heat versus Chicago Bulls. The Miami Heat will square off against the Chicago Bulls in a Wednesday night matchup between 2 Eastern Conference squads. Miami is coming off a win at home over the 76ers on Monday, while Chicago took down the Hornets on Sunday and will be wrapping up a back-to-back after visiting Cleveland on Tuesday night. So far this season, the Bulls have had the upper hand, winning both prior meetings against the Heat. As far as injuries go, the Heat are still waiting to see if Andrew Wiggins and Isaiah Stevens will be available. They're both listed listed as questionable. For Chicago, Lonzo Ball remains sidelined, but there's a chance Kobe White returns after getting the night off on Tuesday. The two teams have clashed twice already, with the Bulls narrowly taking each game by less than 10 points. Miami hasn't been nearly as sharp away from home. They're sitting 6 games under .500 when playing on the road this season. On the other hand, Chicago has been much tougher to beat in their own building, winning 4 of their last 5 home games. They've already bested the Heat twice this year and currently lead the series 2-0. Offensively, the Bulls hold a slight edge too, putting up 1 more point per 100 possessions than Miami. The Heat have hit a bit of a skid lately, dropping 2 of their last 3 matchups. When the Bulls beat Miami earlier in the season, it was by 9 points in the first meeting and 5 in the second. Chicago's also been winning big recently. 4 of their last 6 victories have been by double digits. As our first pick for this matchup, the Chicago Bulls to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Miami's offense has been trending upward over the past few weeks. They're averaging 117 points over their last 5 outings, which includes a 124-point performance against the Celtics on the road. Meanwhile, the Bulls have been giving up points at a high rate. 3 of their recent opponents have scored at least 118. Chicago also plays fast, currently ranking second in pace, which sets up Miami for another high-scoring night. On the flip side, Chicago's been lighting up the scoreboard too. Heading into Tuesday's game, they've hit at least 119 points in 8 of their last 10, and they're putting up an average of 121 points per game in their last 5 at home. The over has cashed in 5 of the Bulls' last 8 games. This one has all the makings of a high-octane shootout. As our first pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.